comic geek snob nerds in between. My name is Megan, and I am here with another character breakdown by the guy who is the talk of the town, all because of Avengers Doomsday, which I want to say is right around the corner, but it feels so far away. But maybe a trailer's right around the corner. Unless a trailer is posted before this episode comes out, then check out my reaction to it. So, I have made an episode like this before about Victor Von Doom, but that was about a year ago. My quality has gotten better, and so much has happened with Victor Von Doom in the comics that we have to go through it all. So let me take you down the history of Victor Von Doom because he is a complex character, he's a cool character, and he's one of my favorite villains, and I think that's a pretty normal take. So let's get right into it. So Victor Von Doom has many first appearances because he's taken on so many roles. His first appearance was in Fantastic Four number 5 in April of 1962. That was as Dr. Doom. His first appearance as God Emperor Doom was in Secret Wars number 2 in May of 2015. His first appearance as Iron Man was Infamous Iron Man number 1. And his first appearance as Emperor Doom was in Fantastic Four Volume 7 number 28 in January of 2025. He was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Victor Von Doom came into the world in a Romani camp outside of Latveria. His life started rough and only got worse. His mother, Cynthia, died after a deal with Mephisto went terribly wrong. His father tried to save her but failed, and the two fled into the brutal winter night. Victor made it through. His father did not. But that loss did stick with him. And then from there on out, Victor was driven by one goal, master both science and magic so he could free his mother's soul and make Mephisto pay, which is a worthy goal, I say. But, aim for the stars. As a young man, Victor fell very, very hard for a woman named Valeria, or Valeria. I've been asking this for years, and I don't know how to say her name. Everyone says it different. It's either Valeria or Valeria. I want to say Valeria because Valeria sounds kind of like a disease. Unless any of my listeners' name is Valeria, and I'm very sorry. But anyways, she did not return the feelings. But keep that name in mind. Not long after, he earned a scholarship to a university in New York where he met Reed Richards and Ben Grimm. Right away, there was tension. Victor and Reed clashed hard. They were equals intellectually, constantly pushing each other with wild, cutting-edge ideas that left professors comparing them to legends like Einstein and Da Vinci. But where Reed focused on space travel, Victor became obsessed with building a machine to project souls into other dimensions, which would be a way for him to reach his mother. Reed spotted a flaw in Victor's calculations and warned him. Victor ignored it because it's Reed. Who doesn't ignore Reed? The machine blew up, scarring his face and getting him expelled. From that moment on, Victor blamed Reed for everything. His injuries, his disgrace, all of it. Also, Reed Richards is a villain, and I will die on that hill. Bitter and determined, Victor disappeared and traveled the world until he found a group of monks in Tibet who helped him forge his iconic armor. Then he went home, took over Latveria, and crowned himself ruler, which makes for a very interesting Tuesday. With a whole country behind him, he set his sights higher. Total domination. Naturally, that put him on a collision course with the Fantastic Four again and again and again. Doom's early battles were wild. Kidnapping Sue Storm, forcing the team through time, teaming up with Namor, swapping minds with Reed, even shrinking himself into a subatomic world and taking it over. No matter how big or bizarre the plan, the Fantastic Four kept stopping him. But Doom never stayed down for long. He kept getting smarter and angrier and more dangerous and more spiteful. At one point, he stole the Silver Surfer's cosmic power and actually defeated the Fantastic Four, running rampant across the planet, until he lost that power again. Another time, he nearly took over the entire world using mind control, creating a strange, perfect society with no war, no hunger, but also no free will. Even then, he grew bored. Victory without challenge meant absolutely nothing to him. Despite everything, Doom did eventually succeed in freeing his mother's soul with help from Doctor Strange. The scheme to free his mother required Doom to incur her undying hatred by volunteering Strange to take her place. Cynthia Von Doom was so disgusted at her son that she became too pure to remain in hell and departed for heaven. Strange wondered out loud if Doom had been aware of this outcome when he made the deal, but Doom simply said that his mother's hatred was a price that he was willing to pay to ensure her freedom. For him, results mattered more than anything. So you can say a lot of things about Doctor Doom. You can say he's a bad dude. You can say that he was an awful ruler, but you can't say he was a bad son. Over the years, he fought alongside and against just about everyone: Avengers, X-Men, cosmic beings, even saved reality itself from in his own twisted way. He's ruled worlds, built entire universes, and even at one point literally became a god. But even with ultimate power, which unlimited power, he couldn't escape one truth. Deep down, he believed he was the flaw in his own perfect world. That realization pushed him in a new direction. For a time, he tried to be better, working with heroes, giving up his throne, even stepping into Iron Man's role, which is infamous Iron Man. And if you're interested to know exactly what happens in that run, I have a video all about it. But Doom being Doom, that path never stayed simple. He kept slipping between savior and tyrant, always chasing control, always trying to prove he knows what's best for everyone. Out of nowhere, the entire planet got swallowed in dark force. A total blackout, no sunlight at all, which basically opened the door for vampires to take over globally. This was a fantastic run called Blood Hunt, and I don't care what anyone says, I loved it. So, most of the world fell fast, but Doom was ready for it. He already put a spell on Latveria that instantly killed any vampire who tried to cross the border. While everyone else was scrambling, Doom saw an opportunity, not just to survive, but to come out looking like the hero and grab even more power. He pulled in the students of Strange Academy from Madripoor and brought them back to Latveria. Not long after, Doctor Strange showed up in astral form alongside Clea, who is his wife, asking for Doom's help. That's when Doom dropped the real bomb. The whole invasion was orchestrated by Vernai, the original vampire who had taken over Blade's body. Doom then made his move. He asked Strange to hand over the title of Sorcerer Supreme so he'd have enough power to stop Vernai. Strange did not like it, but agreed on one condition. Doom had to give the title back once the world was saved. Doom accepted. At least, on the surface, he accepted. Now, powered up as a Sorcerer Supreme, Doom combined his magic with the students' abilities. Together, they took down Vernai. Doom even cleared the dark force from the sky, but there is a catch. Vampires lost their weakness to sunlight. And right after the win, Doom immediately twisted the deal. Instead of giving the title back, he sent Strange back into his body and announced the entire world that he was now the Sorcerer Supreme and their savior, which was diabolical. Then he vanished. Doom locked himself away in Latveria, shielding it with magic so no one could track him. Like they didn't know where you were. From there, in astral form, of course, he summoned the Avengers to the desert and basically called them out, asking why they never used their powers to actually fix the world. He even showed them a vision of a perfect utopia they could have created. The Avengers pushed back, saying forcing people into change would only make things worse, that their job was to protect the world, not control it. Doom did not care. He had bigger plans. Because of the Sorcerer Supreme mantle, Doom inherited a magical obligation to fight the Scions of Sidorak. But he had zero interest in doing it himself, so he dumped the job on Spider-Man, gave him enchanted armor and the reeds of Ragador, which would resurrect him up to 8 times if he died fighting them. Problem solved, very much in Doom style. Meanwhile, some magical beings tried to forge a weapon to kill Doom in the astral plane. He took them out, but they managed to hide the sword in medieval Europe before dying. Annoyed, Doom manipulated the Black Knight into tricking Reed and Sue Richards into finding the sword for him so he could destroy it. Then, of course, he immediately tried to kill them, but Reed, now with some magical skills of his own, got them both out safely. And then Doom made his biggest play yet. In a single day, every world leader, supposedly willingly, pledged loyalty to him. The entire planet became United Latveria. Governments were allowed to exist, but only under Doom's authority. He promised to end war and provide top-tier health care and education for everyone. He even killed Baron Zemo, replaced him with a Doombot, and turned Hydra into a force for good. When heroes exposed that trick, Hydra snapped back to being evil, which Doom spun to his advantage to win public support. He even rode a dinosaur version of himself as a symbol of his rule and sent Doombots around the globe to clean up any rogue copies. Reed Richards challenged him publicly on TV, but it was a distraction. While Doom was occupied, Scarlet Witch, Invisible Woman, the Black Widow infiltrated Doomsday, and what they found was horrific. Latverian citizens had been imprisoned in Doom's castle for months, their souls being harvested to fuel his magic. They broadcast the evidence worldwide. Doom did not try to deny it. He straight up said he'd sacrifice millions more if that's what it took. You gotta appreciate his gumption. That was the turning point. The entire world turned on him. Doom went to war against the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men, all trying to stop him from locking reality into a fixed point under his control. He fought Reed in the astral plane and completely outclassed him in magic, even absorbing Reed's power, but spared him because of Valeria, or Valeria. I don't. So if you don't know who she is, yes, she was named after a woman that Doom loved. Sue gave Doom permission to name their child after he saved them, and he chose Valeria, or Valeria. And he's also her godfather, who Valeria really, really respects, and she has a really big part in this One World Under Doom event. So then Valeria, or Valeria, confronted Doom in his own mind. She thanked him for sparing her father, but begged him to stop. Doom brushed it off, saying he'd prove he could control everything. But back in the real fight, he pushed back even harder, using chaos magic to shut down mutant powers, shrugging off attacks, and finally unleashing his endgame. He poured all of his power into one massive strike to create a fixed point in reality. His armor shattered from the force, shards flying everywhere as the plan succeeded. But he did not know that Valeria had arrived to stop him in Latveria. She got caught in the blast, impaled by fragments in his armor. She tried to call out to him, but then died right there. That absolutely broke him. One thing to know about Doom, as I said, he's very complex. But there is one person he has loved more than anyone, and that is the daughter of Reed and Sue, Valeria. Doom immediately grabbed her soul before it could pass on and tried everything, his own magic, then the Vishanti. Nothing worked. In desperation, he went to the living tribunal, begged them to undo what he'd done and bring her back. They refused at first, until Doom showed them his soul and how far he was willing to go. Everything, no conditions. That was enough. They agreed. Valeria was brought back. That fixed point was undone. And Doom paid the price. Dying, he went to Reed Richards, not for help, not for forgiveness, but to tell him what he'd done. He gave up everything, his power, his rule, even his soul, just to save her. Reed told him Valeria was alive. Doom's answer was simple. It was worth it. His body faded away, leaving only his mask behind. And inside it, Reed found Doom's final message, his will, carved into the one thing he left behind. So that continues on to the Will of Doom and Dungeons of Doom. And you would think that who is he going to leave everything to? It must be someone we're not thinking. It was Valeria. He left everything to her, which makes sense. It makes the most sense. But it was also like, I think we all saw that coming. And if you haven't checked out Dungeons of Doom, this is when I wouldn't say the world's leaders, but the world's governments, the world's shady outlets that no one should know about, they all go inside Castle Doom to take whatever he has left. Because he's dead. What's he going to do with it? And it is a terrifying and horrific comic because it heavily leans on the horror aspect of it. And it was just really good. And if you haven't checked it out, you absolutely should. So in the end, everything comes back to the same core. Victor Von Doom is driven, brilliant, and completely convinced that the world would be better if he ruled it. And whether he's saving reality or tearing it apart, he never does anything halfway. Because in his mind, Doom isn't just a man, he was the answer. And now he's dead. So that is Victor Von Doom. That is his full history in Marvel Comics. I understand this was a lot. This is a really big episode. Usually my character breakdowns are not this long, but it's Victor Von Doom and you can't leave out any details. So I hope you enjoyed this character breakdown. I hope we find out more about Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Doom in the MCU coming up. And I hope you will like and subscribe. So with that being said, have a marvelous day.